Good afternoon, everyone. It is October 2nd here at KIT Iizuka Campus 2024. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming to class. Sorry about the weather. Nothing much we can do about that. Let's take a look at what I have planned for you in the class for this semester. So overall, it will not be very different from what we did in the spring, from April all the way to basically August. This class from October all the way to February will be a continuation of it. We'll be doing exercises from the textbook. I'll be bringing in some materials from Goldfish 365, and we'll have Moodle tests and especially two conversation tests. We won't have any Moodle tests. And the reason why is because if we take a look at your syllabus, okay, you have a TOEIC exam in December. And this might be, I don't know if it's news to you, but instead of a Moodle test, okay, instead of giving you that test, I will be asked by the university to take your TOEIC certificates from the TOEIC test that you will take in December. And I believe this time it's the reading set. I forget, it's either the listening section or the reading section. You give me those certificates, and that is 25% of this class's grade. So even if you do really well in this class, please make sure that you take that TOEIC test seriously. If you do well in this class, but you do badly in that test, in that TOEIC test, you can still fail this class. That's 25% of your grade. So even if you already know about my conversation tests, and that'll be no problem, and they're not even worth that much, you can see that the final one itself is only 15%, and the first one itself is only 10%. It's not going to be really heavy on your grade, but you don't do very well on the TOEIC test, that's 25%. So please be careful. The other things that we're going to be doing too, we're still doing those class reflections here. Okay, the class reflections here. Plus, you'll have writing tasks specifically through the semester, number one, number two, number two again. Actually, that should be 3 and 4. That's a mistake. Sorry, that should be 3 and 4. Writing tasks 1, 2, 3, and 4. Grammar quizzes, reading quizzes, listening quizzes. Not too different from what we already did back in April, except I made a mistake here. But otherwise, it should be no surprise to you. That's all outside of class. That's all basically homework. You'll also have homework that you have to do from the textbook in class. What I want to do with you is continue what we did before. I want to teach you how to speak. I want to make sure that the time that we spend together, the time that we can't do when you're just in your room by yourself or you're doing Duolingo by yourself, what we can do together. The most important thing for that time is that we spend it learning how to speak, looking at each other's eyes, making sure that your voice is strong. That's really what's important in these speaking tests. And that's really the biggest thing that I think is the gap in your English skill and knowledge is not really, it's not vocabulary. Most of you can read very well. Most of you can write very well. And I'm going to be talking about this a little bit later on. From August to September, I've been doing research on AI, artificial intelligence, and language education. And it's clear that AI is going to be a very big part, not just your job, but everything that you do in life. And that includes, of course, learning how to speak a language. AI is going to take over a lot of the difficult things that you still had to learn in high school, junior high school, for learning to write and read English. That problem is going to be pretty much gone by the time, I don't know, next year for junior high schoolers and high schoolers. Writing and reading becomes much, much easier because of artificial intelligence. And for those of you who maybe got the new iPhone 16, this is the 15, I wish I had a 16, but if you got the new iPhone, you know that artificial intelligence will be coming even to your phone. and that's Apple. Of course, an Android phone will have the same thing. But reading and writing, that's easy. It will be easy because of artificial intelligence. That means that from now on, speaking, English speaking, is the real skill that you need. But it's unfortunately the hardest skill to learn. So, without talking too much about what we're going to be doing, that's what I want to do in class. This classroom, by the way, is a slightly different layout, but you all know what we're going to be doing. And we're going to be reintroducing that a little bit by studying Quizlet as well, too. Okay, now, if you have any questions about any of this, okay, please feel free to ask me after class. Oh, I also need to show you, let's see here, the textbook sections that we're going to be doing in this class, okay, is section 2, 5, and 14. Okay, so please make sure that you're studying the right ones, but it's okay. You'll be guided through all of this, and you can always speak to me as we move on. Also, too, I wanted to talk a little bit about your class from 1C. There were some of you that didn't do as well as you might have thought, and I admit that part of it was because I may have made the test a little bit too difficult, and I changed that a little bit for you this semester, too. But I also noticed that a lot of you forgot. You didn't do all of the assignments. Some of you just simply forgot to do, for example, let's see here. Let's see. Some of you forgot to do the listening quizzes, or some of you forgot to do the reading quizzes. So if you want to get the best mark in the class, please make sure that you do these listening quizzes and reading quizzes. They count for, because there's so many of them, they count for like 2 or 3% of the time. Now, the best way to make sure that you do that, I don't know if you know this, if you, for example, let's say right here with this pre-class preparation, if you mark this button that says mark as done, okay, click that, and you see how right over here, that will change to a green color. You turn that off, that green color goes away. These buttons will help tell you if there's something that you haven't read, that you haven't done yet, and I would suggest that you use these to check very quickly. Okay, I've read that. Okay, I've read this. Okay, I've read that. And then if you forget something, you can look very quickly later. Oh, I haven't read this. Let me go read this again. This will make it very quick. You can see what you've done and what you haven't done, and you can just use these buttons very, very effectively. That might help you at the end of the semester when you're trying to see what have I done, what haven't I done. That won't be perfect, of course. Maybe you did something and you just forgot to push the button, or you forgot to push the button and really you haven't done it yet, but it should help you. Has anyone not signed? Everybody signed? Oh, okay, good. Okay, so that's my recommendation to you. Please make sure that you use all of the features in Moodle to be able to do that. Okay, so as always, if you have any questions, please contact me through my email at jdmcruz@gmail.com. Otherwise, let's get the class going.